This is eCoffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show, Coffee with Experts. This is your host, Ranmay here. And today we have Adam Jones, who is the agency owner at Pullman Marketing with us. Hey, Adam, how's it going?
Hey, doing very well. Thank you.
Lovely. Adam, before we move any forward, why don't you talk us through your journey a bit, how it all started? How did you get in the digital marketing space? And also about Pullman Marketing. What are you guys into? What are your core offerings? And we'll take it off from there.
Awesome. Yeah, no, so I have a very unique journey just because of time. I got into websites almost 20 years ago now. I had done some, HTML classes and whatnot, learned a little bit, but then I was introduced to WordPress, and everyone at that time was like, "Oh yeah, this is the SEO platform. Like this is where you got to go." And so I got to start building that out, but then I got a job in higher education at a local university, doing some websites, doing Dreamweaver, the cool stuff. But then my boss, my very first boss at the university, he was doing side work and pulled me aside. I was like, "Hey, do you know about this SEO stuff?" I'm like, "A little bit." And we eventually got into doing what we call wholesale real estate investments, where back then, 2008, 2009, in some parts of the US, you could go and buy a house for $800, $1,200 cash, and then go and sell it to a property manager for $4,000, $6,000. But you had to have really good SEO rankings. And so we were using, the horrible names of like wholesale real estate investing location.com, because that was part of it back then. But then we were also pushing really heavily on video. I don't know if you remember those flip cams.
Yes.
We would have someone go through the house with a flip cam, drop us the file, and then, remember, this is circa 2008, 2009, upload it to something called TubeBuddy, I think.
Yeah.
And it would push the video to 40 different video websites that all created backlinks back to the house that we were trying to sell. We could get a house / a new market, new thing set up and ranked within like 45 minutes back then. Like it was, the moment you threw a video at it, Google was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever." And that kind of started my journey of, well, what does on page look like? What does off page look like? What secrets does Google hide from us? And really digging into that more heavily. While I was still working at the university, I did get to learn pay-per-click. I was like, "Oh, pay-per-click influences SEO too. This is the next step, next phase." But then I started my own agency, Pullman Marketing. I think I got my business license in 2013. So I've been freelancing. I was like, okay, I want to be legit, and started building out my services. Just because, back then, 2012, 2013, HubSpot was killing it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you have to have a CRM. Salesforce was pushing hard." And a lot of the small businesses that I served, man, they just needed a good website, right? Like they just need the website. They just need some SEO, need a Google search profile / Google business profile / Google. Names changed. I mean, you know that you're in this with us. But just being able to work through that with a client and help guide them through what a digital footprint looks like. That's where Pullman Marketing really got its start. And so now we are bigger. We're in a little community called Pullman, Washington, but we love it here. There's 2 universities. It's rural. It's a great town. But we do video marketing services. We do YouTube advertising, CTV. We do help with some podcasting stuff, websites, SEO, pay-per-click, social media, of course, and even down to print. There's been a lot of times where, especially now looking forward, print is having a very interesting resurgence that we're finding that is really delighting a lot of people right now. So I've been full-time into the business for the last 10 years. I actually just checked my LinkedIn profile recently. It was actually 10 years ago this month that I quit the university to try and grow up my agency.
Very nice. And quite a story, I must say. But let's go back to 2013, Pullman Marketing. You started with 6 clients and long days. What was your mindset back then, Adam? What has changed the most in your approach in the last 12, 13 years now that you're leading a multi-specialist team?
Yeah. I think the My mindset back then was really just trying to get things done quick and fast. A lot of times back then, websites were kind of gate kept, right? Like we didn't have the commoditized Wix or Squarespace environment. And I do feel that SEO had more nuance to it back then, right? And so like we were all just watching, our gurus to like, okay, how do we do this? But my approach was we just need quick and fast, right? Like your local small businesses don't need gatekeepers. They don't need, a $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 package. They're just trying to make sure that they show up in their local communities. And that's where I have worked with back then is just any mom and pop business I could, whether that was a restaurant or a martial artist. We kind of hit it all. Looking to our approach now, we take a far more strategic approach because one of the downfalls of trying to do it really quick and affordable for people is that you don't really recognize all the needs of the individual. You don't recognize the pitfalls that them themselves might not be aware of, where we do implement a log frame matrix for, hey, what are the goals? How are you measuring this? Right? Like if it's not measured, it's not getting managed. Let's just be fair.
Yeah.
And so then really trying to push the clientele to understand that this is something to be proud of in your business, especially in today's age of, we do have Fivers, we do have AI stuff that's coming around. At the end of the day, is that something that you're exceedingly proud of? And is it strategic? And then are we hitting the conversion numbers? Are we hitting the actual goals that were important to you? Or are we just getting caught up in the flashiness of what may be here today and gone tomorrow? And so that's where for a multidisciplinary team, that brand mindset of how do we make this brand look good cohesively has been that massive shift for us.
And then you touched upon a very important and burning topic, I would say, AI, right? So as AI
Mhm.
engines like ChatGPT, Google SG, Gemini, information layers on top of search, how do you see this impacting traditional SEO strategies?
Yeah, yeah. I love AI. I really, really do. There's a lot of cool things that I really appreciate. And there's things where it's like, hey, ChatGPT, look at this log for me. I don't want to analyze a log. And I have it do that processing for me. When we look at the brand strategy side of things, honestly, I think that the AI is really missing still that human touch and that human connection, just because it is a race to mediocrity, right? Like it's giving you an average of, what's really good and what's really bad. And let's find something in the middle. The hard part is when we're doing a race to mediocrity, a lot of people's writing is not good, right? Like we're actually all pretty bad at writing unless we really focused in on that during school or different parts of our lives. And so we see AI being highly praised because mediocrity is better than just where majority of us sit. And when we look at, I've seen some statistics that copywriters are going to have anywhere from a 10 to 15% increase in their industry because AI is not hitting the conversion metrics, the brass tacks of it at the end of the day. Now, that could change tomorrow. That could change in 1 to 5 years. Cool. But until we really understand that humans have not changed, what longings and desires sit in our hearts are the same ones that we had 100 years ago. And that writing, those methods still tug and pull at us. And that strategy still works. We might be able to get there quicker with AI, but understanding that emotional heart of the individual is so much more valuable and so much more important than what AI can really hit the nail on.
I agree with it 100%, But end of the day, an emotional question of content actually, kind of triggers that decision making to either buy or use a product or a service. End of the day, it's a human brain kind of making that decision to kind of, use a service or a product, right? So that emotional question
Hmm.
is important. And talking about content, you produce a lot of educational content like profiles in resilience, your weekly social. How do you
Yeah.
think the role of content, what is it, in building long-term brand equity?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great question. And that's something that continues to evolve even with AI on it. And the way that I would look at it is that from a writing, but then also a video point of view, is that if we write really well for humans, the robots will follow. And part of that has to be we need to be adding pieces of value, but where we're really seeing people value is this idea of help me make a decision, right? It's no longer this idea of like, okay, well, just give me a primer about a subject matter. There's this deeper intent of, hey, I want to learn how to play golf. Which golf club should I buy? Oh, okay. Well, I'm not just going to give you a primer on like, okay, this is the thickness of what the golf club should be. Or, if we're looking at recipes, hey, the density of the flour needs to be X amount, right? But they're trying to understand what is the decision that I should make. And that is the value. That's where we can find a lot of brand equity, where we give somebody a actionable step, a actionable resource to say, oh yes, I need to, I understand it. I hear it. Now I'm going to change behavior, or I'm going to make a different purchasing decision, or I'm going to interact with technology or other people differently because of this brand. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that Coca-Cola kind of does with their brand, right? Like it's all
Yeah,
about friendship or the name, right? I love the name campaign because it's like there's this interaction of let's encourage people to show love and friendliness to one another.
yeah.
It's not just about having a Coke, though Coke is good. I like the sugar-free ones. Or sorry, the sugar-full ones, right? So there's that brand equity is there because of the changes in behavior that we are trying to push for.
What is the best use of AI that you're making right now, Adam? I mean, any of your favorite tools that you use on a regular basis?
Sorry, one more time.
So what is the best use of AI, that you're making at your agency? And let's say if you were to pick your top choices in AI tools, what would that be?
Gotcha. No, that's great. So we do have a couple of in-house tools that are using open source LMS. And the best use case that we've had is to be able to have something go through and catalog all of our videos. So if we need to say, hey, I need a blue house, give me all the videos that we have on file of a blue house for some of our real estate stuff. Or, hey, give me all the videos where we've had someone talk about this subject matter. Just so as our team grows, we want to really protect against that institutional knowledge, institutional knowledge is awesome, right? But I can't have a junior be asking, hey, what video should I be using for this? It's like, just go ask the AI, like go see what we have in our catalog of video. That has been a really, really good tool for us. The other one, which is using ChatGPT, is I will go through and catalog a grouping of talks from clients, primarily financial advisors. That's a group that we primarily work with these days. And so they usually have lots of seminars, lots of recordings that we're able to pull from, grab transcriptions, and then use a custom GPT bot for each of our clients to be able to write in their tone, so that while we can always do our own writing, we're using the vocabulary, the cadence, and essentially what makes them within their website copy, within their social media copy, within any of their other advertising promotions. It feels and reads as if it was the advisor speaking, not just the advisor's assistants or your associate advisors, but the main guy who has built the agency. It sounds like him, and that's where a lot of that brand equity is that we found. And so the more that we can emulate that feeling, it works fabulously on websites and has increased conversion for the clients that we've implemented that with.
Lovely. And talking about clients, Adam, what is your favorite client story so far?
Oh, my favorite client story. Ooh, good one or bad one?
Your call.
No, I would say within the financial advisor realm. So like I said, that's a group that we get to work in with a lot. I had an opportunity to go out to Pennsylvania and visit them, and they were such a fun group, but fun in such a way that the owner was hanging out and we're just all talking. He's like, hey, I know we're going to go do a mixer happy hour. How about this? Instead of that, let's go go-karting. And I'm like, okay, great. And granted, like I'm in my 30s. Most of these financial advisors, they're in their 50s. Like this is usually kind of an older group. And my financial advisor guy, he's just like, okay, no, let's go. And we get there. He's like, okay, hey, let's all do energy drinks. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't sound too wild or crazy, right? Like we're not doing like Jaeger bombs or something. But for him in his 50s, he's like, it's 8 p.m. We're all going to do energy drinks. We're not sleeping until 12. Let's go go-karting and just like rock it this evening. I'm like, I am here for this. This is way more fun. This is way more interesting than going to a bar. Like this is, and there were arcades, there was axe throwing, but then just being able to have that one-on-one time in a really fun environment where we're just able to communicate, right? Because a lot of the business, a lot of goals and interactions that didn't show up in our workshops began to really come out in those one-to-one interactions, just having
Yeah,
fun. And to say like, oh yeah, I take my 50-year-old clients out to go drink energy drinks and go-karting, like, heck yeah, like that's who we want to be. That sounds like way
yeah,
more fun than a lot of other activities we could be doing.
absolutely. Perfect, Adam. This has been a great conversation. But before we let you go, one piece of
Yeah.
advice for our young entrepreneurs, who are trying to make a mark or breakthrough in terms of starting their own agency. So what would be that one piece of advice you'd want to give to?
Yeah. Yeah. The main thing that I would say that I have failed in and I've kind of tried to fix over the last couple of years is the idea of right sizing your solutions for your internal organization, in that there's so much push to have everything together, to have everything perfect, to have this elegant funnel, to have everything figured out before you start marketing and advertising. Go talk to people, make that first sale. Go, and then don't feel like you have to have everything figured out for that first sale. Build out your systems to right size that solution. You
Yeah.
don't need a $3,000 HubSpot subscription out the door. You don't need to be dropping tons of money. It is serving well and making sure that the right size for the right problem is there instead of overextending.
Lovely. Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much for taking out time to do this with us. Really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. Take care.